Welcome back to All the Edge. Alright, it's almost over, guys, because in this part, the prince will actually resolve the paradox that has been, that has been happening ever since he put on the mask of a wraith.
Wait,
Right after he
because
answers the phone.
I can barely
yes.
see through this. Best I watch my back. Who knows what's
Okay, why the fuck did the subtitle start and then abruptly ended?
Not just that, but okay, we've officially entered into a different series at this point. I don't know if they got a new director, a new studio, but this isn't the same series we started out with.
Well, Jordan Mechner wasn't involved.
Yeah, again. Isn't this a smart idea, guys? Like, hey, you know how we've had the original creator of the very original games that came before this trilogy and also helped out with the first game of this trilogy? Well, let's make a new installment without telling him and just do this.
Does that, Jova? Remember, Jova, these also happened in the past because the original creator was involved with the first Prince of Persia and the second, The Sword and the Flame. However, he wasn't involved with Prince of Persia 3D, and it sucked.
Oh,
so
yeah, that's right. I forgot about 3D. That was technically the first ever 3D platformer for the Prince.
Learn from that mistake, but nope.
Like, seriously. Unlike Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, the original creator had been involved in several of the titles. Like, at least with Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, Konami had the excuse that Kojima had only been on the first game, so I guess you could see why they may want to try and venture outside. But this...
But you mean Snake's Revenge, though?
Oops. Yeah, Snake's Revenge.
Alright.
Oh my god. What?
Don't think about Prince of Persia 3D. They ran out of... Near the end of development, they ran out of money, so they had to release the game before it got through bug detection.
Oh, joyful, yeah.
Again, wasn't doing it without the original creator such a good idea? It's not like we'd have people scrambling around wondering.
Remember
it's not like you can have good games and not have the original creator on board.
What I'm saying, though, Dwibs, is like, when you do something without the original creator... Okay, let me put it like this. When the original creator is perfectly available and willing to make the sequel to a game, and he's not, say, like George Lucas, where, he needs someone to restrain him, he's actually someone with a good pedigree, like the original creator of the series is, doing a sequel without him makes zero sense. I'm sorry.
Switch that opens it has to be around.
I mean,
thanks for this cutscene.
I mean, seriously, it's like if a big-name company decided to make a third game in a trilogy of games, even though the first two had been highly acclaimed, made lots of money just to do it for a stupid movie tie-in. Oh, wait.
Jovi, you sure you're not talking about Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness?
No, I'm referring to Activision, like, seriously. War for Cybertron series, torpedoed because of Rise of the Darkspark, given to a completely different company than High Moon Studio, and rushed for a movie tie-in. What did you think was gonna happen, Activision?
Battle animations are...
As you can see, Jova's still miffed to Activision after all these years.
Well, Activision have burned way too much goodwill for me to trust them, Dwibs. I'm sorry.
I explained it a bit when it got unlocked, but essentially what you need to do is to have the guard state, then press and keep hold R1 for a bit, and then essentially the prince enters into super gotta go fast mode. So essentially it becomes like kind of like the Flash.
That's all there is to it. That sounds broken.
It can be, but the catch is that it consumes 2 slots on your sand amulet. However, in Wraith mode, since you're in the the Wraith mode, and you constantly regenerate the sand powers, I'm killing it only because it doesn't shut the fuck up. There we go.
I tell you, this incarnation of the Prince as a cameo for the next Mortal Kombat game.
He might actually be fitting there. In fact, he'd feel more like a Mortal Kombat character than the next Prince of Persia character. See the problem here?
Yep.
Anyway, but Tia, what you said there, again, that reminds me of Rey from Mighty Number 9, with her sword ability. Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, technically that drains a bit of weapon energy. Here's the thing, though, because you're assimilating enemies using that weapon energy, you get it back just as soon. Totally not broken.
For me, mom.
Like, seriously, what is with the amount of similarities this game shares with Mighty Number 9?
I guess Keiji Inafune went and took inspiration from this. I have no fucking clue. Anyway,
I was looking at
Lives, you can give me a hand on this. Don't worry. It's just what you need to do is actually to race back to the door and get there. But however, since I'm nixed it, I'm actually waiting for the button to reset and then pressing again. Lives, you can do me a favor and see who were the owner of VIP before Ubisoft. I mean, for the first 3 titles anyway. Like who were the publisher?
All right, let me check. It's hard to tell. Publishers.
Because you also have to remember, it was in a time and age where game publishing was not regarded 100%
Originally in the first.
all around. Hold on, let me finish. Give me a second. So essentially, you got cases where companies zigzagged the publishing to everyone else. Like it was a publisher in Japan, a publisher in North America, and a publisher in Europe, all the way around.
And this is part of the reason why Sony weren't smart enough to keep Crash as an exclusive. But that's another tale.
And Spyro. Go ahead, Lips.
Oh yeah.
Among might be another one, but I can't remember. Broderbond did the first 2 games, and Prince of Persia 3D was depending on what console you had it on, the PC version was published by Red Orb Entertainment, and the Dreamcast was published by Mattel.
Never heard of any of those companies.
Mattel is the company who makes toys, kind of like Barbie.
Oh, wait. You mean Mattel as in M-A-T-E-L?
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are a toy company. What the heck?
If I remember correctly, Jova, they
So
actually were
didn't stop
involved
out to the end, did it?
I remember them being involved in the game industry for a while. I was mentioning before in a part of Tintin, but I remember distinctly games based on Barbie, and despite not being the publisher, they actually were involved.
I get the feeling there's a good reason why they don't really venture into the video game business these days.
It's weird because Warner Bros. Of all people managed to do it, albeit in a very scummy way, so who knows what happened. Anyway, going here, we actually are back to the section with the clockworks, and this is the point where the game junctions once more. If you recall correctly, the
your
first
sword
time
cannot break through wood.
Apparently, they seem to have traveled with pants.
This is the same sword that can crash through all those rock walls and caves, but it can't strike through wood.
Did
Anyway.
Shyamalan ghostwrite this?
The first time we came here, it was for activating the switch, one of the 2 big switches for the door. And if you remember correctly, one of the time we got here, the Wraith that we saw actually activated a lever that helped us going through. So that's exactly what we're gonna do now.
You know, I gotta say, am I the one who feels that, now that we're doing stuff as the Wraith, like, it feels like time's moving about a bit too quickly so that I can line up with the princess
Actually,
stuff?
Jova, no, don't worry. The time is moving accordingly, so we're relatively early on. But the game will involve a gigantic cop-out in just a minute to justify the time gap. Just watch. Because
Really?
we're actually about to get it. Don't worry.
Oh, this I've gotta see.
Oh, trust me, you're gonna like it, Jova. First of all, let's activate the lever. There we go.
The hit detection failed.
Yeah, it's the camera angle also.
And yet, but
Alright.
still, it's not as
Alright,
broken.
here we go. Very good. We activated it. He look at me, he says, "What do you want?" There we go. Now since we have still plenty of time, we can actually go back to the front room and just deal with Kaina for ourselves.
You want to speak up a bit, Robin?
However, nope. We have a giant that just tosses us in a corner, like there, and the priest remains unconscious for hours.
Oh
excuse
my! This is the reason for the
I
game.
have seen this somewhere before. Oh, it was in Sonic Adventure 2, wasn't it?
So
This has so many problems, but I'm gonna mention the most jarring one. The princess constantly shows that he loses health over time, and yet he's perfectly fine now.
and problem number 2: why didn't the giant rush in and crush him when he had the chance?
Yeah, this is such
Wow.
a lame excuse.
Wow! I mean, okay, wow!
So stupid.
That's
Like,
an understatement at this point.
It's a clear sign of the riders riding themselves into a corner and having them to actually ask for a way out, an easy way out. Like, oh shit, now there's this huge time gap. What are they gonna do? Oh, I know. There's a giant ex machina that throws him into a corner and he just remains unconscious for hours. That'll do.
It's a rarity that I see a sequel to a game that was otherwise perfectly fine plot-wise for a first installment go so off the rails, try to be so much more mature, and yet ends up looking immature in comparison as a result. Not only that, but poorly thought out, poorly planned, and doesn't have the excitement to keep me distracted from such.
Yeah. Alright, now we just need to get down. Well, Jova, at least on the plus side, now it means we just can get to the throne room and the game will be over. We have to confront Kylina only once more before the game to be over. So at least the game will not subject for us to suffering more.
So the game's almost over. Huh.
Practically. Actually, Jova, yeah, after this part, there's only the finale, technically. Yeah.
This is kind of bad pacing. I mean, seriously. Okay, look.
Trust me, Jova, you have no idea, and it gets worse.
Wow.
Like, that's this game in a nutshell. As soon as you think you have reached the bottom, it pulls something new out of his sandy ass.
That was Looney Tunes-esque.
Yeah. And yeah, that's another thing. This is the part where the windmill was, but in the past it serves actually no purpose other than to get one of those artwork things. And so potentially you can screw yourself over because you can get here and get mauled by the traps for no reason at all, essentially. Don't worry.
And his crotch got crushed.
Sorry, Prince. No
I
more
am the Prince of Persia. Kneel before me.
No, Dweebs. It's like in Dragon Ball Z Bridge. Why does he keep kicking me in the dick?
because I want to cross your Dragon Balls. Ha 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 ha.
All right. Essentially, now we're almost actually at the exit of the clock room. We just need to get down there. There you go. Somehow we managed to do it, but whatever. I'm not complaining. As soon as we get back to the throne room in time.
And then the floor falls underneath and you have to climb back up.
No, Dweebs, that would be probably something the early Metal Gear games will pull out.
That's what I do.
Of course.
Yeah, in fact, if I ever, it's really unlikely it's very unlikely, but if I ever make a game, I'll have one of you guys play it, and then I can sit back and laugh at all the dickish, and you having to suffer through all the dickish moments.
So you're saying that you would actually put...
recently with a guy who made that game. I forgot what it's called. Getting Over It, I think, which is a serious test of patience. You were saying, Jova?
So, Dweeb, you're saying that you would actually put time, money, and effort into making a BS game just to,
Yes.
Okay.
Just for lols.
Okay. Okay, Dweebs, which in your long list of grudges is this grudge about?
Theo.
Yes.
Well, because for all these years, I've had to put up with him saying stupid stuff on and on and on and on.
All right, Pedro, add that to the list. All right, Pedro, add that to the list of.
Okay.
All right, Pedro, add that to the list of grudges.
Not just that, but
Dweebs,
Yes.
not for nothing, but I'm not a mirror, you know.
You attack an
Also-
enemy and that triggers a cutscene. What?
No, because it showcases where do we need to exit.
They
No,
do
in
that
fact-
right as they drop you in the middle of an enemy horde.
Great programming, Jova.
I'll go on better actually. I'll make a dickish game for each of you. Like for Jova, I'd have an Ace Attorney like game, and where all the answers and all the evidence and that is really, really hard to figure out, and that's just the first case.
I don't know whether I'd feel annoyed or flattered that you go to that much trouble just for little old me?
I call it Kaizo, attorney.
How do you even?
He'll find a way.
Simple. Simple. I win the lottery, I bribe Capcom, and bam.
I guess.
And from what I hear, they could use the money anyways.
You mean after Infinite?
Exactly.
Well, I mean...
For Pedro, I'll make a puzzle game even more bullshit than Dr. Lautrec.
You know, it is kind of a...
If you're gonna go with that, why not? The little tracks puzzles are not so much bullshit; they're just insulting.
Yeah, Dweebs, that would imply that Dr. Lautrec has actual puzzles.
No. See, Dweebs, here's what you do.
But Teo, don't you like doing crosswords?
Okay, see, Dweebs.
Those are actually fine in my vocabulary. The bullshit ones are the minefield ones.
Okay, look, Dweebs, you really want to...
I still have no idea how the hell those work.
Okay, Dweebs, you really want to get Pedro's goat?
Yes.
Give Mark Cerny and Sony enough money to make Knack free.
No, I'll go on better. I'll bribe Square Enix to make Final Fantasy 13 for.
I don't know. I mean, at this point,
I'm pretty sure Motomo Toriyama is right now pitching that, and people.
And there we go.
I'll personally give him the money so that Square don't have to pay him.
What is it?
Also, first of all, Alphabador there was not textured; it was just black once again. But also the fact that there's another situation where Giant should have spawned, but it's not there.
You know, I keep forgetting. Is this the Giant theme or the Dahaka theme? They're so...
No, the boss, the combat theme in general.
But
also there's the fact that well, don't worry, Jova. The next part, which will be the final boss fight and everything, will be the culmination of the entire franchise when it comes to glitches. Trust me on that one.
Wow.
Also, but what kind of game could I have made that would troll Shiroi though?
Something that has text so tiny and you're forcing her to read.
Also, something with bullet.
No, I'd have all the text be read. I'd call it Blood Sans or something. It'll be in Comic Sans. It'll be all in red, and the game actually requires reading.
Well, Undertale also kind of requires reading.
Well, any visual novel in that regard, Jova.
Yes, and there we go.
All right, here we go,
okay.
Guys. We're about to get to that fateful choice.
Choice? Wait.
Yeah, remember the Dahaka showed up, so what to do now?
So we have a choice here?
So what the priest do is just stand there, let his past self get consumed, which by turn should cause a paradox, but somehow it doesn't. And it in turn this removes the mask of Wraith.
I don't.
Shouldn't this kill him?
Time paradox.
No, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
What just happened.
Don't tell me that turns him to normal.
Yup.
What?
Just in time for facing Kairina once more.
And the Dahaka just lets him go?
Yeah, because it consumed his past self. And luckily enough, since his past self was consumed by the Dahaka, it doesn't need to get... So essentially...
So, that's how the Dahaka was...
Now the prince officially is a living paradox. Let that sink in.
How does this even work? He shouldn't even exist.
It shouldn't work. That's the problem.
You know.
Understand.
You know what's sad? They could have just included some BS rules about the mask. I mean, yeah, I would have called BS on those rules, but at least there would have been some structure for it to happen. But no, that's how the mask apparently works.
So yeah, guys,
is that really it
for the final boss fight?
So that's seriously it for the Dahaka.
Well, yeah.
That's how we rid ourselves of him.
Before the ending, yeah.
Not an epic climactic battle, but just a bout of fools you.
Time paradox.
See ya.
All right, see ya.
Yeah.